find it interesting. People ask me about comedy. You know, comedy is such a interesting line of work. Folks, they'll say, hey man, how did you find purpose in doing stand-up? And the question that they typically ask was, I the class clown? That's what they say, hey man, were you the class clown in school? And I wasn't the class clown. I was the guy that told the class clown what to do. I was the throw the rock, hide the hand guy. That's what I was, the class instigator. That was my role. But interesting enough, I did find purpose in humor at a very early age. So I'm the oldest of three, and I grew up in a two-parent home, but it was a very dysfunctional environment. My parents had a very, very contentious marriage. They were always arguing. There was always conflict. We were walking around on eggshells at all times. My father was an alcoholic, so you just never knew when things would just turn. And so I remember I was 8 years old. This day is so vivid. I was 8 years old. Parents got into an argument. And my brother and I shared a room, so we were in our room. My sister's room was across the hall, and their argument spilled out of their bedroom into the hallway. We didn't really have a big home, so the hallway and my room were right there. So they're in the hallway arguing, and my brother and my sister and I, we came out of the room, and we were, asking our parents, pleading with them to stop. And I'm 8. And I remember standing there feeling absolutely helpless, like I couldn't physically do anything. I couldn't remove my father or take my mother to a safe place. And what was happening, my mother was barricading the hallway so that my dad couldn't leave. He was trying to leave the house. She wouldn't let him leave. So I'm there, I'm crying. My sister's crying, my brother's crying. Finally, my father grabs my mother and slams her down and leaves. So I'm sitting there. My mother, she's on the floor crying. She gets up, goes to the kitchen, starts preparing dinner, like it was a regular day. So I'm having all these thoughts, and I go to the living room, and I'm standing there, and I'm upset, I'm angry. I'm just trying to figure out, why is it that my parents are always arguing? And the way that my mind works, it doesn't take long for something funny. It doesn't matter how tragic. It doesn't matter. I'm at a funeral. I'm thinking of something that's not appropriate at that moment. So in that moment, I had one of those thoughts. And I said, "Hey, Mom," and I said some funny thing. I don't even remember. I said some funny thing, and my mother laughed. And something clicked in my mind that, oh man, I have the ability to make my mother feel better by the funny things that I say. And that's all I needed to hear, because I knew they were going to argue again, and I would have my time to shine. So my parents would get into these arguments, and after the dust settled, I would come out and I'd do my thing, doing my show. And I knew I was getting good, because my father, if he didn't leave, he would go in his room and shut the door. And I would have them laughing so loud that my dad would be like, "Where's all that noise going? What are you doing all that noise? All that noise." I was like, "Oh, I'm killing tonight, man. I'm doing it. I'm doing it tonight." So when I stand in front of you, I'm not just looking to be entertaining. I want you to be healed, and I want to allow you to be released. Yeah, thank you for... From the challenges of life. We're talking about it at our table. Sorrow doesn't care about your schedule. It doesn't care. It doesn't care if you have a presentation. It doesn't care if you have a conference to go to. Sorrow happens. So it's important that we are deliberate in doing things to combat sorrow, that we're looking for opportunities to laugh, to smile, to just feel good. And so that is the purpose of what I bring when I do my stand-up.